everyone, Celeste here from the Mission Bend branch, and I'm here to do a book talk today on Woven in Moonlight by Isabel Ibañez. So Woven in Moonlight by Isabel Ibañez is a young adult fantasy novel. It's set in a pre-modern Bolivia. So it's kind of a fantasy world, but it's set in a place called La Ciudad. La Ciudad is the capital of our fantasy world. So our protagonist is named Ximena, and she is acting as a body double for a woman called La Condesa. They look alike, they're both young, probably around 17 years old. So La Condesa is part of a faction called the Illustrians, and there is another faction called the Illustrians. And these two factions are warring. So the Illustrians are the former rulers and the Illustrians are the current rulers. So Ximena is part of the Illustrians. So along the lines of magic, Ximena has a special power where she can create thread out of moonlight. And with the thread she creates these beautiful tapestries. And without giving too much away, magic plays a lot in our storyline. But the current ruler's name is Atoc, and Atoc is a Iron Fist ruler. The city is suffering greatly under him. And so a rebel alliance is underway to get rid of him. Very Star Wars. So Ximena ends up having to go to La Ciudad under Atoc's orders because he wants to essentially marry her because he thinks she's the Condesa, and align the two factions so he can remain ruler. And Ximena goes to the city in the Condesa's place because they think that she's the Condesa, and she starts learning a lot more about the Illustrian and Illustrians and whether or not she really believes in all the things that she's been taught growing up. And she ends up having to sort of decide what to do from there. This is actually part of a series. The second book isn't out yet, but I would highly recommend this for Hispanic Heritage Month. The author is Latina. Isabel Ibañez I think this is her first book, but it's a wonderful story. There's some Spanish in there for sure, and there's also a sprinkling of Quechua, which is a indigenous language you hear a lot about in the Andes sort of mountains area, Peru, Bolivia. So it was actually really refreshing to see something different. So I highly recommend this book, especially if you want to see more Latino representation. So once again, Woven in Moonlight by Isabel Ibañez. Thanks for tuning in. My name is Celeste Perez.